Cool. So I know that last call, y'all said that you wanted me to do more mindset stuff. So kind of just put down on a bunch of Canva slides, stuff that I've been telling myself, stuff that I've been learning, and I'll just share it a little bit with y'all. So basically it's just a presentation, kind of like all the mindsets that I'm keeping first and foremost in my head going into 2024. I mean, we're already in, but starting this year off. Okay. So the first thing that I've never been one to like set goals or have visions. I'm more just like a kind of person that puts my head down and just works and whatever happens, happens. But I've recently discovered like there is a power in doing both of those things. So I've been making it a point to set goals and vision, and they're two separate things. So I'll kind of explain what the difference is right here. So vision and goals are completely separate. Vision is outcome based. So certain subscriber goal, certain dollar amount a month goal. That would be more of a vision, how I would describe it. It's just semantics. It's
Recording in progress.
however you want to go about it. That's just how I differentiate the two. So, and then goals are more input based. So, in order to get to that vision, what kind of daily goals do you need to hit? How many uploads do you need to do a week? How many, whatever the case is, how many videos do I need to make? How many, in Dennis's case, how many clients or potential prospects we need to reach out to on a daily basis? Stuff like that would be more of, a goal is what I would call it, a daily goal. Then there's the law of inertia and momentum. So the most powerful thing that you could possibly have is momentum. Like once you start to create momentum, everything just becomes so much easier. You're able to get more views way easier. You're able to make more sales way easier. Like once you have momentum, it's the easiest. It's just becomes everything becomes so easy. And you always want to overcome the inertia to create momentum. And the way that you do that is just by putting in the daily inputs every single day. So hitting your daily goals, write them down right now, exactly reverse engineer your vision and write down the things you need to do on a daily basis every single day, the inputs that you need to put in every single day. And that's how, by hitting those goals every single day, hitting those inputs every day, that's how you create momentum. That's how you overcome the inertia of just being stagnant, of just sitting there and create that momentum just by hitting those daily goals every single day. That's something that I've been telling myself. And like I said, all this stuff is just things that I've been practicing recently that I want to pass on to you guys. So the assessment of a daily success should not be or should be decided by inputs, not outcomes. For me, I always talk about how powerful the gym is because no matter how bad I had a day in business, no matter how bad I was on sales calls, no matter how bad my videos performed, I'm always able to go to the gym and lift weights, and that's always a win every single day. And you can also create those wins every day with other things, such as YouTube. Even though your views were down today, at least you uploaded a video. At least you made a video today. Even though you didn't make any sales today, or you didn't book any calls today, at least you did the outreach. At least you made a new lead magnet today. Like there's always ways you can find certain ways to create that momentum. And because you have those daily goals that aren't outcome based, you're able to create that momentum basically out of thin air. And momentum is the most powerful thing that you could possibly have. So if you're able to create it out of thin air by having these goals that are within your reach, no matter what, they're not relying on anything or anyone else, they're relying on you alone. You're able to create the momentum out of thin air. And it's just so powerful when you can do that. So here's how you kind of are able to actually enact these goals. So the difference between success and not is procrastination. I hear Ty Lopez talk about this all the time. Basically, the main difference between really successful people and really broke and unsuccessful, unhappy people is just procrastination. If you just stop procrastinating and you take action, imperfect action, you're able to just pass everybody up instantly. And I'll go into why a little bit more. I always talk about psycho-cybernetics. So that book absolutely changed my life. And the main thing that I got out of the book, and I know this isn't what everybody gets out of it, is just speed to action. Speed to action is literally everything. You get an idea, you need to put it into action instantly or as fast as possible, as humanly possible. And that's how you set yourself apart from everybody else, all the other losers out there. The best way to learn is by acting, by not by consuming. You know, that's how you get wisdom. That's how you get like true wisdom is just by taking action. So many people, I can't even tell you how many people come to me and I'll be like, hey, you trying to start a YouTube channel soon? Or they'll come to me and tell me they're trying to start a YouTube channel soon. I'm like, oh, how far are you in the process? They're like, oh, I'm just, coming up with a logo and banner right now. Dude, are you like, what are you talking about? Or they'll say something like, I'm just researching, just trying to research the best strategies. And it's like, that's cool and everything, but you know how you research even faster? You get better results even faster. You learn faster. Just do the thing and fail. And that's how you get the best results. That's how you create those inputs in your brain. And it allows your brain to find the easiest pathway going forward. And that's a psycho-cybernetics thing I'll talk about a little bit later. But the best way to learn is by acting, not by consuming content. You're gathering inputs for your brain when you take imperfect action. So I'll just, I always do the psycho-cybernetics thing. I'll just do it again. Um, Everybody talks about how powerful the Iron Dome is in Israel because it can pick out missiles out the air with other missiles. Nobody ever talks about how amazing it is that a center fielder can track a fly ball in the MLB because it's just second nature to them. Like it's an easy action for them. But if you put someone who has never done it before and have them try to do it, it would be really hard. The only reason why they're able to do it so easily and make it look so effortless is because they've put in millions of inputs of doing that same exact thing. So as soon as the ball hits the bat, they're able to calculate exactly how fast they need to run, where they need to stop, everything. Their brain does it instantaneously because they have millions of inputs that they've put into their brain. And they didn't do that by watching other people do it. They did it by doing it themselves and taking the imperfect action, sucking at it probably for years until they were able to actually be good at it because they had enough inputs to be good. So it's like a new boxer or a new MMA fighter, if you're brand new to it, you don't get good at it by watching other people do it. You can think that you are, but you're not getting good at it. You get good at it by getting in the ring or getting in the octagon and getting punched in the face over and over until your brain finally has enough inputs to say, oh, when he flinches his shoulder like this, I need to move my head this way or I'm going to get hit in the face. And then once you have enough inputs, then you start to actually create that momentum of, slipping some punches and dodging some punches. And then eventually you'll be able to counter punch and you get the picture. Um, when you're on the verge of a massive breakthrough, your body will try to shut you down. All of this stuff is things that I've learned from other people. This isn't, I mean, a lot of it is like original ideas, but basically other people put it in a way that's much more digestible. This one I took from Myron Golden. He was talking about how when he cold plunges, the only reason why he does it is not for like the physical benefits, it's for the mental benefits. And whenever you cold plunge for 3 to 4 minutes, you'll start to feel like you need to get out or you're going to die. Um, that's basically how you feel every single time you're about to have a massive breakthrough in your life as well. Every time you're about to get to a new level, a new financial milestone, or whatever the case is, new physical milestone, with your physical health, your body will start to say, "Oh no, this is foreign territory. We need to get out, or we're going to die." So you'll start to think, "Oh, I don't have to go to the gym today. I went 5 days in a row. I need to take a rest." And that's right when you're about to hit a breakthrough. And if you break through that thought that's trying to hold you back, then that's when you actually will break through. Um, there's so many different, and whenever you start to actually like consciously know that, you'll start to see it in your daily life so often. It's not other people doing it, it's your own brain. And it's just a survival mechanism, but it's your own brain doing it to you and holding you back like it truly is most of the time. And the cold plunge thing is such a good analogy because for 3 to 4 minutes, when you hop in a cold plunge, your brain is like, get out, you're going to die. But then if you just sit there for like 5, 6 minutes, it doesn't even feel cold anymore. And it's the same thing with everything else. You're about to hit a new financial milestone, you're about to hit a new subscriber goal, whatever the case is. Your brain's going to be like, dude, we can't post 2 videos today. We can't post 2 videos every single day. That's way too much work. We got to get out of here. And then you start to do it for 2, 3 weeks and you're just like, oh, this is just what I do now. It's not, the water's not cold anymore. It's just water. So it's a great analogy. You must always be trying to improve. The moment you decide to stay the same, you die. And another analogy, this is kind of one that I thought of myself because I've seen it in my life so many times. When you think of older people, whenever they retire from their jobs, they always like start to deteriorate so much, like so rapidly, so fast, because they're not trying to improve anymore. They're just running out the clock. And I think that happens to young people too, whenever they decide that, you know what, I'm not going to do what I want to do anymore. I'm just going to conform to what everybody else thinks I should do or try to fit in with everybody else. That's called something called like, I think it's tall poppy syndrome or something like that, where if you are in a group of people and then you start to be more successful than the rest of the group of people, you start to feel ashamed of yourself and they'll start to also shame you in like subliminal ways to where it makes you not want to be more successful than those people because, they're intimidated or whatever the case is. So the moment that you stop trying to improve, I basically think that you die, So you just I know that's kind of harsh. That seems like a little bit dramatic, but it's true. Like you do mentally, spiritually die a bit whenever you stop trying to improve. And we talked about this a little bit on a couple of calls ago, but standards, raising your standards is always better than raising your goals. You don't ever, it's so cliche, and it's such a platitude, but you don't rise to your goals. You always fall to your standards, always. And you rise to your standards too, not just fall. So basically, you improve by changing your standards, not your goals. You can do incremental changes to your standards daily. Basically, what happens is, let's say, for an example, you have your standard is $2,000 in your bank account. Every single time you drop below 2K, you go to zero, whatever the case is, you're always going to find a way to get back up to 2K because that's your standard. And it's hard to just say, okay, my standard is now $1 million then. It's hard to say that. You have to truly believe it. And it's incremental, and there's other ways that I'm going to explain in a second that you can start to believe that. But if your standard is 2K, not only will you always find your way back up, but you'll always find your way back down. Whenever you go down to zero, you'll find a way to get back up to 2K. But whenever you go up to 4K, you're going to find a way to sabotage yourself back down. You're going to be like, oh, dude, I'm at 4K. I got 2K to spend. Like, what can we go buy this weekend? Like, you're going to sabotage yourself back down to 2K because that's your standard. So there's a couple ways that you can start to raise your standards. You can do incremental changes to your standards daily. So hitting your daily input goals eventually over a long period of time, your standards are going to eventually raise, not just like dollar amounts and view counts and stuff like that, but just the standards that you hold yourself to on a daily basis. I'm disappointed in myself if I don't go for a run every day and lift weights every day. And if you would have told myself that back in like my senior year of high school, I would have been shocked because that was not my standard whatsoever. But incremental changes over time, that's just the standard now. Like that's what I have to do on a daily basis. And I don't even think about it. It's just what I do. So there's another way that you can also raise it is by osmosis, and that's the power of networking. I can't even, it sounds so cliche once again, like your network is your net worth type people. It just sounds so cliche, but it's so true. Like if you're around a bunch of people who work 9 to 5 jobs, who make 3K a month, then you're probably going to end up just adopting those standards. Like that's probably just going to be your standards. But if you're around people and you intentionally put yourself around people who are making 50, 80, 100K, 200K a month, then eventually that's going to be your standard. It's just through osmosis. That's just what you're around. Your brain's just going to start to think that's just normal. The standard is 6 figures a month. Why the hell are we not doing that? Like, let's get to work. And you're going to find a way to get yourself up to that. Same thing if you're already making 6 figures a month and you start to put yourself around people who are making 5K a month, your standards are going to low. You're going to sabotage yourself down. And I noticed this like right when my first channel got banned on YouTube, and I was making, 20, 30K a month from the channel. And I was like, I need to get around people ASAP that are making money or my standard is going to lower. And I wasn't this thought out with it. I just intuitively knew, like I felt myself slipping down to like, oh, it's not that bad. People around me, they're only making $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Like if I make even that, I'm good. And that terrified me. I was like, dude, I need to get around people ASAP that are making a whole lot more money than me, or I'm going to just be this forever. And thankfully I did, I'll pay a lot of money to be around people who are making more money than me because I know the value in it. The osmosis, the power of the osmosis is just it's crazy. So also another way you can raise your standard is by increasing trust in yourself. So that's just hitting your daily goals, hitting the daily inputs that you have to hit every single day, going to the gym for me, going for a run every day, sticking to my diet, posting videos on my other channels, making sure I'm making content for my coaching business, all of these things. We talked about it on, I think it was 2 calls ago. We're writing down the daily actions that you have to take every day and making sure you hit those daily actions every single day. That's going to really increase the trust in yourself and raise your standards over time. Also works the other way though. If you don't keep the promises to yourself, you're going to lose trust in yourself. You're going to lose confidence. Your standards are going to lower. So it's a double-edged sword. Just use it to your advantage. So now we have the limiting beliefs and fears that I want to talk about a little bit. Beliefs and fear are main factors holding you back. You need to question every single blind action opinion that you have. I can't even tell you how many people they believe certain things, they take certain actions on a daily basis that they have no idea why they do it. When I wrote this, I had something specific in mind. I can't remember what it was, but I'll just say, let's say, for an example, let's use marriage. So like marriage through the state. I understand if you want to get married for religious reasons, but if you want to get married through the state, I personally don't understand why the hell you would want to do that. And neither does anybody else that you ever ask why they want to do it. There's normally never a reason why they want to do it. They just know that's just what I'm supposed to do. I just get married to the state. That's just what everybody else does. So that's what I do. The same thing goes for like so many actions and opinions that we hold on a daily basis. Like most of the time we have no idea why we're doing things. So just start to question every single thing that you do and start to cut out the things that just don't matter, that don't move the needle. There's the 80-20 rule where 20% of the daily actions that you take get you 80% of the results on a daily basis. So cut out the other 80% and keep 80-20 down over and over and over again until you're only doing the 20% that gets you 80% of the results. Stop doing the stuff that makes no sense. All right. Anxiety hits, it's time to grow. That's the last reps when you're in the gym. So this is something that I've been telling myself recently. Every time you start to feel anxiety, start to feel uneasiness, that's the last reps when you're in the gym. You lift weights only for the last reps. Like that's where you grow your muscles, is when you start to feel really fatigued, you start to feel really tired, and you're really like trying to gut out those last few reps. That's what anxiety is basically. Every single time that you take action, when you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling uneasiness, that's when you really grow. Like those are the last few reps when you're in the gym. So I always see that as an opportunity. Now when I feel anxiety, I get excited. It's because that's an opportunity for me to like go to the next level now, you know, and you'll be shocked when you start to consciously like realize these things and notice these things on purpose, how many opportunities you have on a daily basis to take in, the next step into the next level. There's so many of them. So everyone else is comfortable. You got to be different. You got to keep putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. The enemy of success is comfort and all the other platitudes that everybody always says, but it's so true. Everybody just wants to be as comfortable as possible. If you put yourself in situations that are anxiety inducing, then you're going to grow a lot more. So stop, everybody's daily actions. It's just like, how can I feel the most comfort all the time? Like, dude, that's like, it's just, you're never going to grow like that. And if you're in this call right now, you're probably not in the place where you don't want to grow. Like you're probably in a place where you're looking to grow as a person. You're trying to grow your YouTube channel. You're trying to get more money and stuff like that. The enemy of all of that is comfort. And I know it's uncomfortable to get on camera sometimes. I know it's uncomfortable to post videos sometimes. It's uncomfortable to upload more videos than you're used to and stuff like that. You just got to do it because everybody else isn't going to do it. And that's what's going to set you apart from everybody else. So here's a few actions. I believe this is the last slide. A few actions that you can take today to kind of start enacting all of these things. So I think you should create a vision board. I've never been one of these people. Don't think I'm some woo-woo crystal girl or something like that. But I think a vision board is really important, not because it's some like spiritual object that's going to magically manifest your goals. I just think it's important because every day you get to look at something and be reminded why you're doing it. So I put it like, the background of my computer. You can, some people I know get it framed and put it over their desk. Put it on the background of my phone and stuff like that, just to get reminded constantly of what I'm working towards, like why. Because, whenever you put in so much work every day, like sometimes you're going to burn out or start to feel burnt out, and you start to realize, like, start to question why you're doing it. Whenever you have a vision board, it just reminds you of all the things, all the reasons why you're doing it. And then the best part is you start to cross some of those things off your vision board because you start to accomplish those things. And that creates even more momentum. So it's a compounding effect. You need to create a vision board. Another thing, write down your daily goals, the daily inputs that you need to hit every single day. Talked about that a couple calls ago, but it's so important because, once again, momentum is extremely important. And as soon as you hop out of bed, if you're able to start crossing off those daily inputs, those daily goals, then you start to create momentum. And another thing is, there's some kind of scientific name for this, but whenever you give yourself all day to do a task, it'll take all day to do the task. If you give yourself 3 hours to hit all of your daily goals and all of your daily inputs, you'll get it all done in 3 hours. So if you start to give yourself a time limit on these things and you start to give yourself a set amount of things you need to do for a fact every day in that time limit, you'll start to knock out so much work in such a short period of time. It's pretty crazy. So like I'll start to limit myself. I don't take any calls or anything after 5 p.m. Like 5 p.m., that's when I go to the gym, and I refuse to do anything else other than go to the gym. And then I come home and I'll just like chill. Like I'll just relax because for so long, I was not allowing myself any time to do that. And I was working all day, like literally 16, 17 hours a day. The thing is, I get more work done now than I did when I was back then because I just give myself a limited time to do the work. So I work harder and work faster during that time when I'm actually working. So map out how you're going to raise the standards. So not just write down your daily input goals like that, but also how are you going to raise your standards this year? Like what incremental actions are you going to take going forward to raise your standards? Are you going to pay to be part of other networks of people who are making more money than you? Try to put yourself in rooms physically, not just online. People who are making more money than you, have the conversations, swallow your pride, walk up to somebody who is driving a really nice car, ask them what they do for a living. Can I work for you for free? Can I shadow you? Whatever the case is. Do those things to raise your standards. Just map out how you're going to do that. Write down all of your limiting beliefs. So we talked about that a couple calls ago, but write down every single time, question every single belief that you have, question every opinion that you have, every action that you take. Every time you find one that you don't understand why you're doing it or something that you feel like is limiting you, write it down. Once you write it down and you really like burn it into your mind that this is a limiting belief, this is an action that I don't need to be taking, this is irrelevant action, it's not helping me, then it's going to lose its power. Once again, I'm not a woo-woo crystal girl, but it just really works. Like it just does. Um, Write down your fears and anxiety, same thing. Once you start writing them down, they start to lose their power and you start to be more conscious of them, able to overcome them easier. And then take relentless, imperfect action every single day. I'm not going to go all psycho cybernetics again, but just giving your mind those inputs, it allows your brain, which is a super, super powerful machine, to find the path of least resistance. And once you're able to find it once, then you're able to repeat the process really easily. You need to give your brain inputs though. The fastest way to learn something is not by consuming content on YouTube all day. It's by actually just doing the thing. That's just the best way to learn, the fastest way to learn. And yeah, that's about it. So hopefully you guys can apply this to YouTube and your businesses. This is just, like I said, stuff that I've been putting emphasis on in my life. So I wanted to just share it with you guys. Do only have like 9 minutes left on this call. I don't know why it's going by so fast, but does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff before we get back to the YouTube stuff?
Hey Jay, can you
Yeah.
send that on a document?
Yeah,
Those
for sure.
points?
For sure. Yeah. I'm
I
losing
took
my voice a little
notes.
bit. What's
That's
up,
because you
Casey?
always. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I took notes on what you were saying, but I started the writing down my anxieties and fears. Everything from the phone call when you showed us the notebook or whatever, like how to, with the input goals and everything. So I did make that. I call it a life care plan. That's just So I did make that, and yeah. So this is what it is. Seeing it is the reminder. And then for me, it definitely seeing it is the reminder that I need because there's just so much I'm thinking about and I become forgetful.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For me too. I will all the time. I'm trying to do a certain task. Like I walk to my desk, I sit down to do something, and I'm like, what the hell was I doing? Because like I get distracted. I have so many people DMing me, so I check my Instagram DMs, and then I'm like responding to people, and then I'm like, what did I sit down here for? I totally forgot. So it's good to always have the daily actions like written down and planned out before the day even starts. Cool. Anybody else have any questions about this? Anything to
No,
say?
I did want to mention like this is something that God had put on my heart with regards to even the Bible, where in the book of Genesis, man, like how God created creation. And I just thought about what if God had our mindset, how like we get distracted with everything that we get distracted with. And like if he had that mindset, like he would probably still be creating Earth. You know what I mean? Like because we just get so distracted with everything. I know I do. And having the map, the road plan, the notes and the so for me, this definitely is up my alley as far as what God has already shown me. And I'm definitely gonna somehow, some way make a YouTube video on that point. Um, and just really allowing people to see how important it is to stay on track and like relating it to like what if God, you know, had that same mentality. It's just something that I thought about.
No, that's a great point, dude. Because you have to think of like, the precision that the world operates on. If one thing would have been wrong, if God was distracted on one little thing when he was creating the universe, we wouldn't be able to exist. Like how precise everything is created, and we don't have to go into all of that stuff right now, but it's insane how precise everything is. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. And if he was distracted even a little bit, then it would have none of it would be working right now. So that's a good point. But yeah, Roger, or is that it, Dan? You have anything else? Okay. Roger, do you want to share your channel real quick and then ask any questions that you have?
And I think
Sure.
also while he's doing that, somebody asked a question on the chat. It might have been the last question. It was a pretty good one. Now I can't remember.
Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at chat. I see it. How do you raise your standards, not gym wise, but business wise? Yeah, I think that's a good question. The way I do it is I just, like I said, every day, just keep promises to myself. So I'm addicted at this point to finding things that cause anxiety in me so that I can just take action through it. So when I first started this coaching business, I didn't like getting on sales calls. Like that was really foreign to me. It was really weird to me. Now, like it's I don't give a shit. Like it's just a phone call. I'm just talking to somebody. I don't even see it as a sales call anymore. I'm just like, can I help you out? Yes, no. If I can, let's go. If I can't, good luck. It's like, so just taking action and doing things that make you feel uncomfortable, you just become the kind of person that makes more money. You become the kind of person that has a bigger business. And then at that point, your standards are raised. You know what? How people always say, like, become the kind of person capable. I think whenever you're becoming the kind of person that's capable of doing bigger things, I think basically that all that is just you raising your standards. But it's like a true standard raise, not like I can't just sit down today and say, okay, my standard is now that I'm worth $10 million. No, it has to be, you have to raise the standard through actually taking action on a consistent basis, keeping promises to yourself. I don't think it's really that much different, to be honest, like business and gym wise. I think it's the same actions that you take just in a different area of life. The way you raise your standard in the gym is by hitting the gym every single day, pushing yourself in the gym every single day. Way you raise your standards in business is just by doing the things that you need to do that we all inherently know like what we need to do on a daily basis. Just keep the promises to yourself and keep doing that every single day.